Finding the right smartphone is no easy feat, especially within the prepaid market, which is full of garbage, to be honest. But every now and then we get devices that are actually worth our time. I've been using the ZTE Grand X Max Plus for some time, and I'm ready to give you a full review. Hello guys, this is Edgar with MobileGeeks.com. ZTE's design department has been doing great things lately, and the ZTE Grand X Max Plus is pure testament of such argument. The device has glass in the back and in the front, which makes it very good looking, but it can make the phone quite the fingerprint magnet. The edges are completely made of plastic, but that doesn't mean the phone is cheap. Actually, I was quite surprised by it. It's a very solid feeling phone. My only real complaint is that the volume buttons and the power button are a bit wobbly. They move around a little bit, but that's not really a deal breaker. This one is actually pretty slim for its size at least, and it feels very well in the hand. It may be a bit too large for some of you though. I mean, this thing has a 6-inch display, which I'll get to in a little bit. Overall though, everything is where you'd expect it to be, and the phone even has micro SD card support, which is definitely a plus for some of you. And even though it's huge, it doesn't feel like it's gonna crack or bend on you like a certain other phone we all know. And if we're talking about size, we have to talk about the screen, which by the way takes over pretty much most of the front. I love what ZTE did here. They got away with making the phone feel pretty much like a 5.5-inch phone, but this is actually a 6-inch display. And the display is actually quite gorgeous once you turn it on. I was very surprised. Colors are vibrant and the screen is very bright. This is living proof that having an affordable handset doesn't have to mean you have to sacrifice on screen quality. This screen does look great. My only complaint is that it actually has a 720p resolution on a 6-inch screen, and at this point you can really start noticing some pixels. I do wish this was a 1080p screen, but it's a $220 phone and really the panel's quality makes up for it. Some may think colors are oversaturated though, and they are. But that makes for a very good experience in my opinion. It makes the colors pop and it makes everything more vibrant. And now that we have the phone turned on, let's talk performance. This phone has a Snapdragon 400 processor clocked at 1.2 GHz along with 2 GB of RAM, which makes it a pretty good contender. I mean, it's up there with devices like the Moto G, but this one happens to have double the RAM. What this means is that you have a pretty good experience considering that this is a $220 phone. Transitions are smooth, the device is pretty snappy, and multitasking, I have to say, is up there with the big guys. It can even run games like Asphalt 8 or Shadowgun. In a world where simplicity really does trump it all, ZTE has done a pretty good job at making this an enticing UI. I mean, it's as simple as they get, and yes, some of the icons are a bit cartoonish, but that doesn't take away from the good experience. Your home screens are clean and there's nothing to bug you or bother you. Once you open the app drawer, it's the same side-to-side scrolling with all your apps listed in there. And if one of the apps, or bloatware as we like to call it, happens to bother you, you can simply hide the apps. Open your notification area and you'll see that you get some widgets. You can expand these and look at other widgets along with the screen brightness control. You can see your notifications are right below it. Pretty clean and simple, right? Oh, and you also get cool things like shortcuts on your lock screen and stuff like that. Overall, it's a super clean experience and I really like what ZTE has done here. The camera is something that also surprised me while I was testing this device. It's not going to beat the iPhone 6 or the Samsung Galaxy S6, but its pictures are actually very usable and some of them are great in good lighting. Overall, the camera performs very well. It focuses fast, it takes really good readings of lighting, and everything seems to be very well exposed all the time. The flash can be a bit too strong, but at least everything comes out clear. As you would expect though, things can get a little blurry during nighttime. Now, one thing that really did not surprise me is sound quality. And I'm not talking about making calls. Those are alright. The problem here is that the speaker on the back is a single speaker. And it's placed in a location where pretty much assures that you'll be covering it most of the time. And not only by your hand, because the back is completely flat, putting this phone on a flat surface while listening to music pretty much means the sound will be muffled. You may be happier to hear about battery life though, which this thing is a beast. This has a 3200 milliamp hour battery. Now remember, this phone has a Snapdragon 400 processor, which is a little underpowered, but it also means that it doesn't need as much energy. And it has a 720p screen, which means the phone can also save energy on that. Plus the fact that it's a huge battery and you get a really long hours of usage. While using it extensively, I was able to get about 12 or 13 hours of battery life on average, but start going lightly on it and you'll see that hours really go up to 20, 24, and I was able to keep it alive for about 2 days once. And now the moment we've all been waiting for. It's time to decide if the phone is worth the $220 Cricket Wireless is asking for. I would say yes. Yes, with a cherry on top. It's not only one of the best options at that price range within Cricket Wireless Network, but it's one of the best options at that price range, period. That is, if you can bear with the huge display and the size, along with a pretty bad sound experience. Everything else about the phone is surprisingly good though, and I wouldn't doubt about using this phone if I couldn't afford something like a high-end smartphone. The screen is pretty gorgeous, performance is good, camera quality is acceptable, and battery life is insane. In fact, I almost wish it wasn't a Cricket exclusive. I'd really like to see this and recommend this to other people. But it is in Cricket, so if you're staying with that network, this is probably among the best options out there. Unless you want to spend over $500 for a Samsung Galaxy S5. And once again, guys, this has been Edgar with MobileGeeks.com. Don't forget to like us, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and all those cool things you guys can do. Thank you very much for watching, and have a good day.